Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Wood and I'm a part of Ball State University's MSAT program. Today we'll be discussing clinical decisions with evidence. Why are clinical studies important? It helps efficiently find treatments that work. Healthcare providers can issue effective treatments during the initial visit. It shows researchers what does and doesn't work, and it helps with medical advances. The clinical question I asked is, what are the effects of manual therapy on function, pain, and range of motion for police officers and college athletes with chronic ankle instability? To start, we're going to be going over some relative information pertaining to both the articles I reviewed. Something that was commonly discussed is chronic ankle instability. This was found that it's between 20 to 40% of ankle sprains result in chronic ankle instability. It can be acute, subacute, or chronic. It limits dorsiflexion range of motion, which may be associated with tight plantar flexors, joints, and or musculature. There are several risk factors that have been identified with this, and its residual symptoms can occur after any ankle sprain, chronic pain and or swelling, ankle always giving way, meaning it's unstable, it needs extra support, or recurrent sprains. Manual therapy is also discussed a lot, and the purpose of this is to decrease pain, increase function. It focuses on numerous forms of treatment, such as proprioception, range of motion, and plyometric exercises, and it influences the normal restoration of joint function. And lastly, what is also frequently discussed is injury preventions. This goes from stretching and strengthening exercises. Moving on, we're going to go into Article 1, which was ankle dorsiflexion range of motion after ankle self-stretching using a strap. The purpose of this article and study was to provide evidence on the most effective way to treat chronic ankle instability. It measures pain, flexibility, and function with self-stretching and manual therapy techniques. The procedure involved 32 patients who were randomly assigned, and there were two groups. There was a static stretching group and a self-ankle stretching with a strap. Both groups received treatment 5 times a week for 3 weeks, and the stretching was performed for 20 seconds with 15 repetitions, and the clinicians allowed 10 seconds to rest. Following that, measurements were taken each day after administration of treatment, which then led to the conclusion that both studies found improvements. However, patients who experienced chronic ankle instability with ankle dorsiflexion range of motion showed greater improvements with their assisted dorsiflexion range of motion and passive dorsiflexion range of motion, and also their lunge angle in the SSS group. So that would be the stretching with a strap group. Moving on to Article 2, it was the effect of 2 mobilization techniques on dorsiflexion in people with chronic ankle instability. The purpose of this was to analyze the effectiveness of 2 manual therapy techniques. So that was the mobilization with movement and the talocrural manipulation. So you'll hear me probably refer to these as WB, MWM, or HVLA. This procedure consisted of 52 patients who were randomly assigned, and there were experimental and control groups, but both groups received treatment for 48 hours, so that was only 2 days. The experimental group 1 received the HVLA treatment, so the high velocity, low amplitude manipulation, and experimental group 2 received the weight-bearing mobilization with movement. The control group was the placebo group, and that was replicating the experimental group 2, the WB-MWM condition, with several expectations to ensure that there was a distinct absence of therapeutic effect. All measurements were taken 10 minutes, 24 hours, and 48 hours after the interventions were performed. The conclusion of this was both techniques have similar effectiveness for improving ankle dorsiflexion for chronic ankle instability. However, experimental group 2, the WB-MWM group, demonstrated greater effects. Now, with only being measurements taken for 2 days, how resourceful can this study really be? Studies should be longer than 2 days to show the overall and the timely effect of them. So after discussing with the Carmel PD athletic trainer, his name was Adam, he mentioned that this was an ongoing issue that has found some beneficial forms of treatment but have not been long-lasting unless the patient puts forth the work. We as clinicians need to look further than what the injury condition is presenting at surface level, break down the cause. So is it because of previous ankle sprains? Is it because the musculature is just not properly strengthened? What could it be of why the patient is experiencing chronic ankle instability? And if Adam, the Carmel PD athletic trainer, were to perform any form of treatment, he would start with proprioception. This is because proprioception re-educates body awareness and it strengthens the supporting and surrounding muscles and ligaments. So it's sort of like a 2-in-1 treatment. The end results that were discovered was that chronic ankle instability is common amongst all individuals. Patients' visits can be more effective with these studies. Manual exercises can be effective at treating chronic ankle instability, and long-term treatment should be tested next to see if manual therapy can be beneficial for a more permanent modality. So more than 2 days, more than 3 weeks, although 3 weeks can be a lengthy time, it's still not enough. These forms of treatment need to be done and measurements need to be taken for months. And we need to ensure that although it is a manual therapy exercise and we as the clinicians are putting in the work, that the patient is also putting in the work outside of therapy.